What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I'm coming at you from just outside the Millennium Building at the Prime Inc. Springfield Terminal. Just got in here yesterday, gonna be here for a couple days handling a few issues and just having a chance to just kind of sit back and relax. But let me tell you, man, 5-0 was running deep yesterday through Illinois. You know, we just got, or I'd got a level 1 inspection in North Dakota about a week ago. My co-driver was driving yesterday and got pulled over on the side of the highway for a random inspection. And for those of you guys that have watched that video about where I was talking about that last DOT inspection, you know, my co-driver decided to chime in with the DOT officer when I was getting inspected. You know, not malicious or anything like that, but I'm going to tell you, when he got pulled over for that roadside inspection yesterday, I was about to tell the DOT officer, I'm not sure if he's like certified his logs yet or not. You know, kind of get him back for that snitching he did, but he went ahead and passed that inspection, so it's all good. What I want to talk about in this video is good loads versus bad loads. You know, for people that have been watching me for a while, I've said it on numerous occasions, I have never turned down a load because of money, ever. You know, not that I don't turn down loads. There's loads that I've turned down, but they've all been for reasons outside of money. You know, one thing that I'll tell you is low stress, stuff like that, that's more important to me than money. So if I'm turning down a load, it might be a load that I find to be a little bit more stressful than I really care to run. That being said, if my fleet manager needs something done, it's going to get done. You know what I'm saying? So an example of a load that, you know, some people may not find stressful, may not have a problem doing, but, you know, flower loads. I don't care if it's not drive or unload anymore or anything like that. To me, it's just not worth it. Not about the money, just about, you know, everything that goes along with it. You know, there's a receiver that we go to in Boston, it's Chelsea Market. I don't really care what that load pays. I may not even look at the money on the load. I'm turning that down. You know what I'm saying? So there's a few of those little places that are like that. But it's never been about the money. You know, I can look at a load and say, okay, this is a good load, but that doesn't mean that I will or won't run that load for that reason. And I think a lot of people outthink themselves in this business. You know, if you're an owner operator and you're on the spot market or you're doing that kind of stuff, you know, you can go out there and you know, just pick your own rates and stuff like that. That's a different story. But I'm just talking about when in the system that I'm in, you're not going to always find home runs. And really, to be honest with you, you ain't always finding no home runs on the spot market either. So what I've found is take loads I like, don't take loads I don't like. You know? And I think that what happens is I keep saying this in videos, and then I know that there's people that watch my videos, but then they'll ask me, hey, I got this load, you know, is this load worth doing? And my question is, do you like the load? Do you like where it's going? You know, all these different kind of things. If you've been to the shipper receiver before and it was a good experience, you know, that's why I might suggest that somebody takes the load or not based on the money or anything like that. You know, and sometimes I think that the same people I know that watch my videos will ask me how I go about choosing loads like I have some kind of a cheat code or something like that. Like I'm hiding it from the people that watch my channel, and I'm telling you, it is that simple. And one thing that I've found in my life, and I'm going to give a few examples of this as well, is it can't always be about the money. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny that the least or the less I focus on money, the more I tend to have of it, and the less I stress out about it. Hey, here comes the snitch right here.
Man, I still gotta deal with that shit. Snitching.
Hey, anyway.
I'm making you money.
how often do I talk about money? Listen, somebody that's been in my truck with me, and we've had this conversation, and he doesn't even know what this video is about. How much do I talk about money?
You don't. Actually, it irritates you.
He said I don't talk about it, and it irritates me when people are about the money. So let me just talk about how that relates to my other truck. You know, I try to just keep Myra in that other truck self-sufficient. I don't micromanage anything. There are several loads that she will run that I know are good loads for her that aren't good loads for me. I know there's several loads that were going back and forth between South Carolina and Utah. Those loads, once you factor in the miles, the pay, what I'm paying her, what I'm paying a trainee, fuel, truck payment, all that stuff is actually a net loss on those loads. But one thing I know is that's a good load for her. Would I rather be short-sighted and just make this all about me and all about making money and not having her get what she wants out of this situation? Or would I rather take the loss here and there and make up for it on another load or two or whatever down the road? You know, it's the same. I try to have the same philosophy with her in that other truck that I have with the people that rent from me or rent my property from me, and that is keep your people happy, and you will be fine in the end. You know, I did just raise the rent on my property $150 a month. You know, that I'm renting this place to my tenants for, I think, $1,550 right now. If my wife is watching the video, maybe she can put down if I'm correct about that or not. But I'm really not thinking about that money. You know, if it was all about the money, when these people came to me, I would have just raped them, or even went market value on the property and made more money along the way, and always had them thinking, is there a better situation? Is there a better property? Is there, you know, this or is there that? But what I've been able to do is build loyalty with the people that are renting my place, because they know, and I've even told them that. It's like every time he's dropping off the rent because he likes to pay cash, you know what I'm saying? Not that that's the smartest thing in the world, but he likes to pay cash. And every time he brings over the rent, if not every time, every other time, do you plan on selling this anytime soon? I'd really like to be here for a long time. It's that kind of loyalty. If it's all about the money, you do not get that kind of loyalty. You know what I'm saying? So I'm taking $400 less a month, $4 or $5, I don't even know, less a month to build that loyalty. One thing I haven't had to deal with is somebody fucking up my property. You know, because he's actually looking at it like it's his property. He's all talking about trying to renovate stuff. Now, I'd be paying for those renovations, but having somebody take ownership like that, you know what I'm saying? Not planning on leaving. If every time a tenant leaves, that's costing you a lot of money in cleanup, you know, downtime while it's down, all this kind of stuff. Why not just build that loyalty? And that's what I try to do with this other truck. You know, a couple examples I want to talk about, and for those of you guys not into, you know, that are into trucking, maybe this video is going to get a little long and boring, so I apologize for that. But I remember selling cars. I was thinking about this last night, and especially back in the times when I was selling cars, back in the early 90s, you know, it would be a much longer experience just to pick out the car, go on the test drive, do all that kind of stuff, even if they like the car. And a lot of times you used to just try to blow through people as fast as possible. If it sounded like they couldn't buy a car, or it was going to be too much of a headache, you just try to just kick them off the lot or do whatever and move on to the next one. And I was getting this feeling one time from this girl that was you know, about to buy a car, or she was on the car lot. I didn't know if she was about to buy a car or not. For those of you guys that know San Diego, I was at Drew Hyundai at the time, and seemed like she was a stroke. That's what we used to call them in the car business, a stroke. You know, she's gonna come up there, waste a bunch of time, and be done. Hold on a second. Here's a guy with the Marine Corps thing in his truck. Let's see if Semper Fi. Yo, hotty do. That's what I'm talking about right there. So, anyway, I'm glad he came back on that. But anyway, and part of the reason one thing I'm gonna say is partially is because I was new. It's not because later on, may not have been the right thing, but I may not have given this customer the attention they needed. But anyway, I did happen to give this customer the attention. Everybody's like kind of laughing at me, saying I'm spending all these hours with these people and I'm getting stroked and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, sell this girl a car. Don't make really no money on it, because she came in, she ended up buying the ad unit car. An ad unit car kind of looks like a Freightliner, you know what I'm saying? It looks like a normal car, but then they got the gray bumper on the bottom. That's what lets you know that's the cheapest car on the lot. So she buys an ad unit. I think it was like under $6,000 if I remember back to those days. But she's about to go in the finance department, sign up all her paperwork, and she gets a phone call. And I'm not there for the phone call. I just know she talked to her brother, and she asked me, do they have celebrity discounts? So I didn't know what a celebrity discount was, but whatever somebody asked for, we got it, right? It's like, yeah, of course we got celebrity discounts. And she's like, well, my brother's wanting to come down, and I think her brother ended up actually coming down and buying the car. So she didn't end up financing it. He ended up coming down and buying the car, and then buying him a car later that week, and then buying his two other sisters cars as well. So for those of you guys that are into boxing, I know Robert Lopez, he's a boxer up in here, but this guy's name was Terry Norris. And Terry Norris was a boxer back in the early 90s. Very good boxer. And actually, I saw a video of him recently, and if nobody thinks that boxing slows down your mental capacity, man, I heard a conversation with him, and he is just like not sounding all that well lately. But anyway, he comes down, finishes the car deal for his one sister, buys two other sisters' cars, and he buys a 5.0 Mustang, in which he put KO on the license plate. White Mustang convertible. Anyway, I used to see him out at the clubs, because it was back in my running and gunning days, every now and then. And not only did I make some money on all these cars, but then I was getting free drinks at the clubs whenever I ran into them. So that, you can't put a price on that either. So anyway, that's one example. Another example, I was in the mortgage business, and you know, somebody wanted to do a loan. It was like a real low loan amount. It was like $100,000 or something low. A loan that really, on some of those smaller loans, some of those loans are actually going to take up more of your time than the money you're going to make on it. But I ended up doing that loan for them, and they ended up referring me. They actually ended up being friends of a realtor that ended up doing business with me over the course of like the next 3 years, and we probably did like a couple $3 million worth of business. And I wouldn't have met this person had it not been, or I wouldn't have met that realtor had it not been for this customer. And that customer happened to be this realtor's hairdresser. So anyway, it's not about the money, man. I'm telling you, there is nobody out here that there's nobody that I've seen out here that can tell me that they are that good at micromanaging every load that comes in and declining and accepting all these different loads that in the long run has came out ahead doing that. And on top of that, like, you know, I've heard people say that Prime averages people out and all this kind of stuff. I don't believe that either. Now, they might average you out based on your hours, but this all comes down to hours of service. If you have the hours available then you're going to be doing business. So if somebody's asking me how to maximize your profit, whether your company or your lease, it's going to be about your hours of service. It's not about you picking a load and that load being, you know, you picking all these individual loads. It's not like that. So those are kind of my thoughts on it. Another myth that I think that I see is there's some of these people that think that on a consistent basis that they're able to pick these loads. And I don't care if you're on load choice board out here, Prime, or you're just getting loads regular, that say it. First of all, it is not about the miles, so I do agree with that. But if you were to average it out month after month, your miles and your income, there's a direct correlation. Nobody out here is running all short miles from high money. It's just not happening. So those are my thoughts on that. And again, it's just a philosophy that I've had, and I think that it's served me well. So anyway, enough about that. Believe my co-driver's getting his laundry done. We're gonna sit up here for a while. I might run down to Walmart here in a while, then around 4 o'clock, somewhere in that neighborhood, come down here to Fire and Ice and finally get a chance to just have a decent meal. I may go over to Wings, etc. I'm not sure. I haven't made up my mind on that. But just have a little chance to relax, and then probably tomorrow's when I'm going to do the heavy lifting, come in here, deal with some of the outside of trucking type stuff I need to deal with, and then introduce him, because that walk down that long, that's a commitment down there. So I might wait till I know that my fleet manager and payroll and all the people are down there before I just go down there and just wander down there for no reason at all. But those are my plans. Listen, and I cannot say this enough. I'm telling you, if you are on your trainer's truck, or you're coming to Prime, or you just became a lease operator, I'm telling you, if you are constantly looking at money on the loads, I think it's a recipe for failure. I'm not saying that everybody that does that fails. I'm just saying that, to me, it's what perks my ears up. It's what makes me start taking notice. So anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by. No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.